Okay, perfect. So yeah, I'm gonna start. Maybe some people are gonna join probably in the next few minutes. So I'm gonna do a little presentation about investment clubs right now. And the reason why I'm talking about investment club is because we are planning to create one. So I'm gonna tell you what is it, why people are joining investment clubs, and what are the benefits of it, basically. So if you have any questions, please you can write them in the chat. And yeah, I'm gonna go. So if you can see my screen. So first of all, I'm gonna start just by going over what's an investment club in general. So it's basically just a group of people that are pulling their money together to actually get more better investments, I would say. So better in terms of larger investments, and also investments that we cannot really afford individually, right? So for instance, we're going to look at some stocks that are really expensive, like Amazon, that is $3,000. So with something like an investment club, you can just buy um, that stock, maybe multiple shares, and at the end, everyone can be have a little part of Amazon through the club. So in investment clubs in general, the types of investments that we're going to see are any types. So all the types of investments you can think about, you can actually have access to them. So if it's investing in stocks, what is really great, for instance, with stocks, as I was saying, there is less commission fees. So if we put all of our money together to buy some stocks, we just pay less for the commission, right? So if we have to pay that, doesn't matter which broker you're with, it's just a way less. We just all go in at the same time. So it's a way easier for that. We can also invest into bonds, forex, cryptocurrencies. Those all the time, it always depends on the group that you're joining. So if some people are interested in a group to go into those investments, go into forex, and there is a good strategy for it, then it's always great to consider it and maybe go with the group, right? So there is also some really great opportunities that are in real estate, for instance. So if we want to purchase, we know that real estate is really expensive. So if we want to just buy something, we want to purchase a property, a building, whatever we can purchase, we can all like do it together. And at the end, we can all have the return from the investment, right? Which is really interesting. So we can just enter the market quite easily. And also the fact that we're all working together, we can also manage this asset um, easily as well, right? So other than that, there is yeah things like options, mutual funds. So for instance, in this slide, I added some like forex, cryptocurrencies, options that a lot of people are less familiar with, but I wanted to add them just because I know that once you join a group of people, sometimes some people in the group have those skills, so are comfortable trading cryptocurrencies. So it's really great because you can also take advantage of that. You can take advantage of the opportunity of it. So something that if you're not comfortable with, then someone else can explain you more, and you can also like learn and understand what is it. In terms of stocks, also one thing that is really interesting is that we can also easily purchase stocks of companies that are not available on the market. So usually those companies can have really higher return. I would say they're a bit harder to sometimes to look at just because they have less history. So it's harder to look at, but the return can be really higher when we go into those companies. So any questions for now? All right. Great. So I'm gonna keep going. So here are a few reasons why it's great to join investment clubs in general. So first of all, as I said, you can have access to really like important investments. So that you cannot really do by yourself. So it's great. You do it with the group. Everyone just put their money together, and then we can enter any investment we want to get, right? And what is great also is the fact that we can discuss about those investments, so we can all have our point of view, see if it's great opportunity or not, evaluate that opportunity, and we all have all different backgrounds, and also it's great because it makes a good conversation about the investment, so we can look at it all together, right? So that's the next point, actually, because there is more research made by the members of the group. So everyone can make their own research before entering something. So it's great because sometimes there is things that you might have not seen about an investment, about an opportunity. So for instance, if you want to buy a property, it would be great if everyone can just look at it, see if it's a great investment, see what might be wrong. So now we have just multiple people looking at the same thing. So it's really great, and it's easier, having those discussions all for the same goal. After that, you can also learn from other members. So as I was saying, if you don't know or you feel less comfortable going into real estate, cryptocurrencies, or forex, some other people in the group can also find great opportunities if they are comfortable in that field, right? So if someone is comfortable in real estate, that person can actually bring new opportunities, explain those opportunities, so we can just understand them. So at the same time, it's a good learning process for all of us, right? So we just learn from other members, from their background, and also it's great because it also brings some security in sense that sometimes it's always hard, it's always risky, you're not sure if you should do an investment or not. So now it's great because someone else who has the full background and that really like studied that can actually like give you insights about it. Otherwise, there is the learning material. So we can get some learning material together. So instead of if we need to, let's say, buy a course or something, instead of paying the full price for the course, we can also just maybe figure out a way, if it's talking to the people having the course or something, to have a discount for the group or something like that. So basically, it's easier. We can also share some learning material. So yeah, you don't have to pay as much just to get all of the like the really interesting things that people are selling all around. And the last part is the social. So since it's a club, there is meetings. So some social meetings, and also we kind of just know each other a bit more. So there is kind of a good social part of it. Um, Investing together, sharing, just have drinks, some events together, and things like that, just to basically familiarize with people in the club, which is always a good thing. Any questions for now? Okay, that's good. So again, if you have a question, please just write it in the chat. So now it was just kind of a brief overview of investment clubs and what is a thing that some people like to do, like to join, just for security, the stability of the group, all of the learning and all. But I would say once we join an investment club, what is really great is to be you need to really want to invest, right? So if you're really into investing and you really want to learn how to build um, everything, all of your investment portfolio, I think it's a really great opportunity. And at the same time, it's like you need to be involved. There is some involvement in the club. So as I was saying, if every time we look at opportunities, everyone in the club has to look at those opportunities, right? Because everyone has a say, um, has something to say about it, right? So if it's voting, if it's saying, yeah, I would like the group to purchase that, then you need to know just what is. So you have to do your due diligence for that. So there is that involvement, but at the same time, I would say it's probably the best learning that you can get, right? You just analyzing investments and see if it's great opportunity or not, and discuss about it. So then you can also see things that you might not have seen. So you, hopefully you see that it's like it's really great to have those conversations, right? So if you want to join a club, first thing to do is, yeah, sign up to the club. The signing up process is always different for the clubs. So, for instance, for our club that like we would like to create, I'm gonna talk about it a bit later after, but it's we just need to have some the private informations like name, email, address, and there is a social insurance number, and that is for the taxes. So with the club, when you join the club, everyone is responsible of their taxes. So that's why we kind of need to have that information. But after that, it's split in a way that that it's easy for you after to just make your taxes if you join the club. So that's why we need that information. After there is the entrance fees. So when you join the club, there is most of the time an entrance fee, and that fee depends on the club itself, on the rules of the club. And those fees are actually added into the pool. So it's not something that you have lost. It's just something added to the pool of investing. So after that, that money is going to be invested with what the groups decide, into what the groups decide. Sorry. Other than that, there is also the monthly fees. So there's gonna have some monthly fees, probably really really low. So I wouldn't expect something too high. But those monthly fees are also added to the pool for investing after. So again, it's not money that is just lost, but money that is invested by the group. And you can expect something like 10 to 12 meetings a year. Usually the groups try to to have meetings maybe 10 to maybe every month, something like that, just that are meetings to discuss the investments and see what we're going to do, what is the next move, and all of that. And there is also, of course, the social events that are just socializing. So that, as I said, it depends on the COVID, right? So if we can do get-togethers, otherwise it's gonna have to be probably on Zoom or something like that. But that's better than nothing, right? So any questions for now? Okay, nothing. Okay, great. So there is.
1 second, Bryce.
Yeah.
There was a question there, and it asked, "Will we be looking at IPO?"
IPO.
Yeah,
What
will we
is
be looking at IPOs? So, just before the company goes public,
mm-hmm,
initial public offerings.
mm-hmm,
So that was one of the questions in the group
mm-hmm.
chat here,
Yeah, yeah.
and definitely, I feel that looking at IPOs is a great option,
Mm-hmm,
also for learning. Um, IPOs usually happen when, like as you mentioned, a company is about to go public, and if you knew about the company before, you could have bought into them. So when it goes to the IPO, you already made the money,
mm-hmm,
or getting it as it opens on the IPO or so forth, the
mm-hmm,
initial offering for that. So
mm-hmm,
for sure, we'll be looking into that as a group.
mm-hmm.
And so hopefully that answered your question. I believe it was from Monica Welsh there.
Hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
right.
I have a question. This is Sandria. What is the cost? Like you said, the initial fee and the monthly fees?
So for now, the costs are not determined yet. So we're still working on it, but you can expect costs like probably from $500 to $1,000 to enter the club. So that money is going to be reinvested. And in terms of monthly fees, probably I would say it's really, I'm just saying that, but it might be different, but I don't expect something like a way different. So it's probably going to be something around $50 to $100 a month, something like that. So, but yeah, at the same time, like we'll see a bit, we still have to do some admin work around that.
Okay.
Mhm.
The monthly fees are commission fees that go back into the pool, or
Yeah, exactly. So all the money that is put, so first of all, when you join the club, there is most of the money is actually going into the pool. There might have a really small commission fees for the work done to join the club, but it's going to be really minimal. So same thing with the monthly, really minimal thing. Mhm. So
okay.
okay. There is another question. What happens if I am not wanting to invest in a group's chosen investment? So, what's gonna happen in that case is most of the groups are gonna work with what we call a vote. So, that's some things that we are still working on. But what you can expect also for that is that it's gonna be a voting system. So if most people in the group want to take that investment, maybe this is what's going to happen. But it might also be that everyone has to agree. I would go more into that route. We'll see how possible it is, depending of the size of the group. So it's just that, yeah, depending on the size of the group, sometimes with larger groups. So if we have a really large group, it might be harder to get everyone to agree. So it might more be your voting system that is still based on the percentage. So not necessarily 50% of the people um, want, but something like 70% of the people are for, 80% or for, something like that. But that really depends on the size of the group. For that, now the group is not entirely created, so we're still working on the rules. But in the next weeks, we are gonna present the rules of the group, so you're gonna have a time to go through it and see if it works, and also if you have things to feedback or something that you would like to add or something, that would be a good time to discuss about it. Mhm. Any other questions? Okay, so just to add something to what Josh said about the IPO, it's something that I think it's really great, and I know that personally I have few contacts that are also working a lot with startups. So it's great because it's really private in the sense that you need to know the people that are connected in that field, right? So that's why at this point we can join as an investor, so we can get really like companies that are not that are maybe starting, that have really high potential, so we can evaluate those companies together and see if it's great opportunities. Same thing with, yeah, the IPOs, companies that are going to go into the market soon. We can also get into those opportunities for sure. Mhm.
Um,
It's me, Sandria here. Will
Yeah,
it be stocks, or would it be a combination of options and stocks, and or e-minis? Like, what's the kind of investments are we doing?
you mean in general or just
Yeah,
about stock in general? In general, we have many skills in the group. We have many skill sets. So I assume that we're going to go probably into stock options. There might have some cryptocurrencies. Otherwise, I know a lot of people are interested into real estate, so we're probably going to look at that. And those are the main ones, I would say. The rest, there are things like mutual funds that we can look at, and bonds if we need some security and all. But yeah, it would be mostly those ones. Um,
Okay.
Emmanuel, you wanted to add something?
Uh, yeah, I was just in terms of the IPOs. I believe to be able to buy IPOs, you need to be an accredited investor.
Mm-hmm.
So we need at least one accredited investor in our group in order to kind of represent us when opening an account with companies that sell IPOs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, really interesting to know.
And also in terms of the investment, I believe we can also look at other some some certain deals. Like if you can get that something in gold, for example,
Mm-hmm.
or even in cryptocurrency, there are sometimes that you have like a deal where you are sure you can get like this 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 crypto or this
Mm-hmm.
specific asset at a certain percent off, and you are sure that if as soon as you get it you can go back to the market and sell it at the actual price and
Mm-hmm.
just keep the profit. So it is something that you can do here and there just to increase your income in
Mm-hmm.
some way. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, okay, that's good. So yeah, Macam just added something, which is a great thing. Thanks for the feedback. So we'll have to really see for that. It really depends on the size of the group, because if the group is too large, then it might be harder to really um, like that to have everyone to agree, right? If it's really large. So that's why I'm saying that. So sometimes a percentage might be great, a minimum percentage of people that agree. But one thing to really know about it is that also, even if sometimes you we can disagree about something, what is really great is that if we are a good group and people do their due diligence, as most of the time with clubs, what is great with that is that at the end, everyone does that for for a better future, right? So if you put your money, you don't. No one wants to lose their money, right? So I expect sometimes that there's gonna have some disagreement, but most of the time we really like want to have everyone agree on something. So that's why there is always that discussion and like why it's a great opportunity and why we cannot, because we can every time we can consider other opportunities as well, right? So having at least for me, for instance, it would make me feel comfortable just having 80% of the people that are actually finding it as a good deal. I wouldn't find that it's necessarily a bad move that I'm doing, right? So, but for that, yeah, as I said, really, it's really great that you give that feedback because we're gonna have to write the rules too for that for the group. Mhm. So, if it's that, I don't know if Josh, you have anything to add.
Nothing particularly. As mentioned, when you're doing a group, it really, as you mentioned, it does come down to the size, right? If it is a large group, getting everyone to agree, it's it's pretty impossible at times, and we see that in politicians or whatnot. They can't even agree, and there's five of those fools. So if it's a smaller group, absolutely, we can go for 100%. But as mentioned, it really varies on the sizes. Where if it's smaller, we can go by numbers. Once it gets bigger, it has to go into a percent system for it to work.
Yeah.
Another question is there a term commitment?
Mhm. There might have a term commitment. So, yeah, there might have one. So, probably it might be in terms of years, maybe 1 year, 2 years. So, but yeah, it's going to be part of the rules as well. So, we're going to add that. And after that, when when it's time to see the rules, like everything is going to be detailed for that. Mhm. So yeah, so that's it for now. I guess if you have any questions, you can ask them in the group chat, or you can ask them to me directly. If you have also feedback, like Macam, maybe something that might make you feel more comfortable for the group, it would be awesome if you can also share it, because we're working on that right now. So it's a good time, just to say what you think about it, and also yeah, thanks for that, everyone.
Mhm. And one more thing, just to add to it is that since it's we're in the creating and development process, it's really key to hear your voice and your feedback because that really helps with creating the club itself. So for the best user experience, it really helps when you shoot your questions. So you may not have questions now, but maybe later on tonight or tomorrow something comes up. Just shoot it in the group or shoot it to Bryce, but um, just voice your opinion so we can make a much better product that serves everyone's needs. Okay. Thank you very much, guys and girls.
All right, thank you. So I guess have a good evening, everyone, and please send questions and everything if you need so. I'm gonna share the recording tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, Bruce.
Thank you. Have a
Thank you
good
very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Enjoy the night, guys and girls.